this one.
When me a boy I grew up on the bank, them tell me say, my father tell me when me a boy I grew up, he said 2 things you can't turn in a life. 2 things you can't turn in a life. He say you can't turn one of them man then, who don't know what they are talking. And you can't turn thief. Because when me come from, every lion is a thief, and every thief is a lion. For me, what a new Prime Minister, because this is Prime Minister tonight.
Friday, November 8, 2024. Let us read. The Prime Minister is seeking, among other things, to have the IC investigation report on its statutory declarations rejected as unlawful and unfair. This man is out of his mind. This man is out of his mind.
It's unlawful.
No. He wants the IC to rule, to reject whatever, based on these 2 items, that the Integrity Commission is unlawful and unfair, where he, on 3 occasions, applauded the Integrity Commission. Let me remind you, Prime Minister.
They gave him enough time to bring in what they
A judicial review allows the court to scrutinize processes used by a public authority to make decisions. Justice Althea Jarrett heard submissions from both parties on Thursday, and following their completion on Friday, reserved her decision until December 6th. People, I am going to get to something that we have missed, and we are going to make sure that FID look at this, right? And that is one of the reasons why I just really miss Rattigan as it relates to this situation, but I know that Rattigan will pick up. I am going to reveal and to own a statutory declaration for 2021 as it relates to where the Integrity Commission investigators, right, had investigated. But what have we missed, people? I am going to show you what we had missed. Now, without any delay, I want to bring up and show on a statutory declaration, some review 2021. Here it is. Summary of statutory declaration. Name of declarant, Most Honorable Andrew Michael Holness. We talk about the 3 categories, right, as it relates to, right, the filing process, income, assets, and liabilities. Now, when we look on the income, we see the salary, right, which is $10,487,000, right? Reality income, $2,953,560. Security income, nil. Other income, $6 million. But I want for us to pay attention to Andrew Holness' total assets, and this is 2020. I want people to pay attention to this because we have been missing something. And so, Rattigan, if you are hearing me, I want you to look at this, Ratty. Total assets, Ratty, here. $172 million, $402,000, sorry, and 1 cent, right? Total liabilities, $988.38. I want people to get this, Total income, right? Total assets. Look at the total assets, Jamaican people. Look at the total assets. Total assets, $172,506,402.01. Let me talk to the people. But it seems like we have been missing. So then if the Jamaica Labour Party administration looking in, yes, let me show FID what we're missing. So if Andrew Holness, statutory declaration, total assets is $170 million. What I want to ask you, Andrew Holness, the Integrity Commission, right, investigated your statutory declaration for 2021, right? And where we have seen, right, similar figure. Now, Jamaican people, let me ask Andrew Holness this. So then, if you had reported based on your statutory declaration that we had looked on, and the total assets is $170 million. Now, Andrew, let's back up. Come here. In 2020, between the period 2020, and I know that people are going to dig this, between the period 2020 to 2023, $470 million were running through 4 accounts. Ratigan, no, I catch this now. I wanted to catch this. So then, Andrew Holness, did you reveal all of that to the IT? No, you didn't. You have not revealed that in your 2020 statutory declaration, sir. We have not seen that in your 2020 statutory declaration, and where this Integrity Commission investigator investigate your 2021 statutory declaration. No. You have been running, as it relates to $470 million from 2020 to 2023. So I am asking you, right, to explain to the Jamaican people, why didn't you reveal that as it relates to your 2020 statutory declaration and your 2021 statutory declaration, sir? We have seen the evidence as it relates to the Integrity Commission investigation report, where $470 million running through roughly about 4 entities, 4 accounts. Right, you catch this. We have to get back there. So something very fundamentally wrong. That here, from the period 2020 to 2023, right, where you have $470 million running through 4 accounts. However, your 2020 statutory declaration is saying to us that your total asset is $170 million. What can go so? So then, you need to come out and explain that. And now we understand, of course, why you don't want FID to investigate. Because that is a contrast that needs to be explained, that your 2020 statutory declaration have you as a total assets of $170 million, and while between the period 2020 to 2023, $470 million running through 4 of your accounts. Talk to Mystic Sensation. Speak. So all of those parliamentarians, right, and the Minister of Justice who want to back and defend you, they need now, you understand, to answer that. I want them to answer how your statutory, and I'm make it up here. I am showing you what Gazette did as it relates to your 2020 statutory declaration that is saying that your total assets, income, and liabilities amounted to $170 million. And yet, during the period of the same 2020 to 2023, you have $470 million running through 4 different accounts. And then, what makes it worse, your 2021 statutory declaration that the Integrity Commission is looking on, you did not state it on your statutory declaration. I see Integrity Commission investigators. Do you realize that he did not state it? He did not state that. So then we have to get back to the drawing board, sir. And you have questions to answer. So this is what we are saying as it relates to the level of corruption, right? Where we cover also Nigel Clark running foundation and where millions of dollars dumped into Nigel Clark foundation, and we can't understand the source of who dumping money into Nigel Clark foundation. We are not talking about easy cash. We are talking about $30 million. Where did that money come from? Did that money come from SSL? I'm just asking the question. So far, I don't have any evidence, let me say, to say that that money come from SSL and dump into Nigel Clark Foundation. But I'm just asking, why Nigel Clark, right, and the DPP decided to sit on the report? And when Kroll finished the investigation and recommended charges, who are the persons who recommended to be charged? Seriously, where you understand the dark clouds need to be cleared, right? And so then this is what we are saying. But guess what? Jamaican people, we all are going to anticipate December 6th to see what's going down. Alrighty, we are looking on the Prime Minister statutory declaration for 2020, right? Here, that would have reflecting 2019 statutory declaration, right? Now, and we see the salary that the Prime Minister was getting as it relates to his salary. But again, if we are to check as it relates to 2019 and 2020, right? This salary that the Prime Minister have here seems to be padded, because the Prime Minister, was the Prime Minister getting 10 million for salary? I don't think so. I think it should be less. But anyway, huh?
Yeah, it's less.
Yeah, it's less. So here we see where the Prime Minister's salary being padded. $10,487,565.94. Right? So let us go to total asset, because that is what we're interested in. Right, the Prime Minister total assets here as it relates to Jamaican dollars, indicating $172,506,402.01. Is that correct?
Yeah.
His liabilities is $15 million, $986,988, right, and 38 cents, right? Correct. Okay. Take it away, because I want to ask Ratty a question. So we see where the Prime Minister, right, declared that as it relates to his 2020 statutory declaration. But based on the investigation that the Integrity Commission investigators had done, and where they look on the Prime Minister 2021 statutory declaration and failed to certify that, right?
Mhm.
Now, we have seen as it relates to the investigation timeline between where you have $470 million running through, right, 4 of the Prime Minister bank account between the period 2020 to 2023, right?
Three companies.
3 companies.
Yeah.
470 million.
474 million.
$474 million.
Yeah.
Ratty. So what he show in as it relates to the statutory declaration, shouldn't it be more? I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Because if the timeline of the investigation, right, showing that the 3 entities were $470 million, and the timeline, if we can get back to it, it is speaking of 2020 to 2023. Then why the Prime Minister only showing, Ratty, 172 million 2020? That cannot be right.
No, it's not right.
Can't.
No, it's not right. I'm trying to pull up you have the report.
Okay. Yeah. So
See there.
All
So
right.
like you're right. It's from June 20 from 2020 to 2023.
So the evidence is there, Ratty, right? Where the investigation is from June 20, right, to 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So the Prime Minister is in a total conundrum. And there it is, as it relates to the millions of dollars, right, running through these 3 entities. Estate Based Holding,
Imperium, Positive Media. See,
$473 million.
Yeah, so them deposit 473 and withdraw 427.
Yes.
It does keep move. The money does keep move between the three entities.
Exactly. So Ratty, how does this strike? Because I'm wondering if the director of corruption, the director of investigation, did he take a reflection back on the 2020 statutory declaration and realize that, okay, you know, what he had reported is definitely wrong as it relates to the 2020?
No, it not add up. It not add up because you're right. If them go back to 2020 and 2021, then this should be a part of it, right?
Exactly.
And then what our people need to know is that Imperium was owned exclusively by the Prime Minister.
Exactly.
Nobody else.
Exactly.
1,000 shares, him owned 600, 400 unassigned. So him alone run Imperium. Positive Media, he owned Positive Media with one of the Azans. I think it's Richard Azan.
Yes.
And it's 100 shares and him own 99. And 1 share owned by Mr. Azan. Yeah, later on him turn over him shares to his son. And then this other one, Estate Bridge Holdings, I think he's the principal in this, and I'm involved in this with him, with a guy named Norman Brown, who is the guy who works out of his office that is in charge of UDC and another agency right, involved in development. So you can say he's part and parcel of all 3. He's involved in all 3. And this is the kind of money we run through it. So we know him own this one outright, right? And this one, Imperium. We know that at one point, Positive Media own 99 out of 100 shares. And we know that I think he's a major shareholder in Estate Bridge Holdings.
Yes.
So you're right. All of this money here, we don't see it in 2020. We don't see it in 2021. We don't see it.
So this is serious. Because isn't that ADMAT was dissolved into Imperium?
Correct.
So then the Prime Minister have a problem here. Right. The Prime Minister have a big problem here.
Yes. He has a big problem. And you know what? I was reading the file concerning the former speaker, Marissa Dalrymple Philibert, right?
Yes.
And what they did, with the car, and what they did, they went back several years to show that she didn't file when I think it was 2015. Remember now, this thing come out 2023. And in 2015, when they started talking about the Mercedes, they went back to the time she purchased it in 2015. And they had like 7 filing periods where they said she didn't file. So they went back. So I don't know why the Prime Minister complaining that they're going back into his financial history, because there's precedents of them doing it. So I don't know. But that's a drowning people clutch at straw. So
but in order to understand the present, you have to look into the past.
Exactly.
True. But he's complaining, saying that, but and then I said, well, wait a minute, hold on one second. Because remember, we showed not last week, the week before, we showed that the Integrity Commission said that, look, we never really do any investigation into anything the Prime Minister told us. We just took his word at face value. Right? So now that they can't take his word as face value, or they shouldn't, they went and they looked at everything that he did. And they're coming up with all kinds of issues they're coming up with. And he's in a bad position. He really is in a bad position. And then on top of that, he's getting bad advice. He's getting really bad advice. Really bad advice. So I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what we're going to do with him. But we have to beat this in our people, because, sometimes we have a tendency, our people have a tendency to hear it one time and it resonates that one time, and then they move on and then forget about it. But we cannot let them forget about this. We cannot let them forget about this. Because if, big if, and I'm not accusing the Prime Minister, I'm just saying if it's proved later on that these monies come from questionable sources, not from legitimate business ventures, but in the source of the original funding. If that came from questionable sources or phantom sources, we don't know, then there might be a possibility that this is actually the people's money. Might be people's money. And if that is the case, we want the money back. We want it back. We have roads to build, we have schools to take care of, we have housing issues, we have medical issues, we have agricultural issues, we have all kinds of issues.
And the main one, we have these big loans to pay back.
There you go.
So we just want to be clear so that we're not accusing the Prime Minister anything. We're just saying what if they go back and them can't, and what if FID go back now and they say, well, you know what, we can't see where this money came from a legitimate source. We cannot see it. It's coming from a phantom source, a source that we can't really identify. And then later on it turned out that this money come from the funds earmarked for projects in at risk dilapidated areas. Then that's going to be a problem. But we're hoping that's not the case. But time will tell.
But Ratty, let me ask the question. Right, based on what we are looking at here right now, and you have $473 million that actually running through 3 of the Prime Minister's entities, which is Imperium, Positive Media, right?
And this one, and the other one, Estate Bridge Holding.
Estate Holding. Right, okay. My question, based on what we have seen here, Isn't that the Prime Minister now would have lied on his statutory declaration?
Oh, I see what you mean. So yeah, for not, yeah, it would be, yeah, if these monies right here that we're looking at should have been reflected in the statutory declaration. And if they were not reflected in the statutory declaration, then that's called filing a false statutory declaration. And you know, I don't understand these people. You have so much money, you have so many things going on, and then they say, boy, like look at the former speaker. She bought the car in 2015, and then she's supposed to tell the on her statutory declaration that the period ended December 2015.
Yes.
And she had until March to tell them. She said she never said anything, and she said she never owned a car. She never drive no car. Then she forgets that she own a car. When you forget you have a Mercedes, you buy a Mercedes, a new Mercedes. How you forget that?
Borati, knowing as it relates to the Jamaica Labour Party administration and all its political leaders, remember, you know, that it is not a strange behavior. Edward Siaga said he forgot that he borrowed $30 million.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
So that's Edward Siaga point two that that Wimple is given, right? And you know it is just really sad where that is concerned.
Carl Allen is asking who bought the car. Carl, in 2015, the speaker bought that car. They showed her the invoice. They showed her the 20% tax break that she got, and they showed her. I think she was collecting monthly maintenance for the vehicle. She purchased the car.
Yes,
she purchased the car. So, by you know, every time you open up this report, you find something new to talk about, you know, that you didn't say before. Every single time you open it and look, there's just something. Because first of all, you can't believe it, that just the idea of your prime minister in a poor country, Jamaica, a prime minister in a poor country having 28 bank accounts, just the optics alone. Yeah, the optics alone is not good.
Can't be good.
Mm-mm.
Can't be good.
You alone are doing 28 bank book.
Exactly. And here we are as it relates to the $470 million. And several of us, Ratty, we overlook this, right? Because we have said we were just focusing on the Integrity Commission investigator. But when sometimes we take ourselves from out of the investigation and look back, then, you know, other things come forward. Because I was saying, then, I mean, if this investigation, as it relates to the $473 million timeline, is 2020 to 2023, and the Prime Minister's statutory declaration for 2020 did not reveal any of this, right?
Yeah. Then
the Prime Minister lied to the Integrity Commission investigators.
Yeah, because I think you're sure that it was how much money was it in 2020?
170 million.
So where this come from?
Exactly. This is a problem. This is a problem, Ratty, for the Prime Minister. This is definitely a problem for the Prime Minister. Right? Because the Prime Minister's statutory declaration for 2020 showing 170 million.
Let me ask you a question. And we can just throw this out to the universe that's watching the program. 2020 was verified, right? It's statutory declaration.
Yes.
All right. Now that we know that the numbers them don't match up, right? Yes. Now that we know, we see where we have something here and we have something there. Although them say this is for a 3-year period, But let's say the numbers don't match up. Do you think that the Integrity Commission should go back and say, well, we're going to decertify the 2020 statutory declaration and all the others where we believe that you weren't honest enough and you didn't give us true and accurate numbers? You think that they should go back and decertify all of them, or they should just say, let bygones be bygones, they were certified, and just let them go?
All right, Ratty, you and I know that, right? It can't be like that, because when in terms of us investigating anything, right, history is important. The foundation of the crime is important, right? And where you have the director of investigation investigating the 2021 statutory declaration, and they obviously came upon this problem in terms of unable to certify the 2021 statutory declaration. That within itself now would carry out what we call a domino effect, Ratty. A domino effect in the sense that, all right, we are now looking on this $473 million, right? Remember that the director of based on the Integrity Commission explanation of the reason why previous statutory declarations were certified by them. I think they said they took it at face value. Isn't that what they said?
Yeah, that's what they said. And in fact, let me find that. But you're right. That's what they said. They said, keep talking, but they did say everything that he told them. They basically did not investigate. They just went by whatever he told them.
So and this is where it now becomes very troubling for the Prime Minister, Ratty, because now that FID is going to come in the picture, right? FID is going to take up, right, where the Integrity Commission investigators left off as relates to the 2021 statutory declaration in terms of the source of funds. Because the problem with that, is the source of funds, right? The Prime Minister, right, is unable to explain the source of funds to the investigators. So FID, right, has to take it from there and peel back the onion as it relates to going way back to ADMAT 2008. Because remember that ADMAT, right, when ADMAT started in 2008, right, we have seen where ADMAT had bought roughly about 4 properties, right? So then the question has to be, where did ADMAT, right, get the original source of funds to purchase those properties?
Well, it is 5.8.32, where they say it is important to know that the source of funds used to acquire assets held by ADMAT was not verified by way of an investigation by the Commission. So they must never do an investigation, and so them just don't know where the money they come from. And I guess never. And then look, here's the next part you were asking about, where it says right there. It says it starts actually right there. By was not verified. It said certification and publication of Mr. Holness's assets, income, and liabilities up to 2020 were done mainly on the face of what was presented in his statutory declarations, as well as other supplemental submissions. So what they're saying is that we didn't really dig deep into this. It's just whatever he presented to us, we just accepted it.
Okay. So this is now where the Prime Minister in a serious problem, right? If FID is to dig into this. The Prime Minister is in serious problem. And that's why the Prime Minister is trying to burn down the entire bridge with the Integrity Commission. The Prime Minister is in a problem. And here it is, where Mr. Pantan, right, came out to say that everything that had been presented, right, everything is fact.
Yes.
That's what he said.
He said
so
that.
The Prime Minister is in a problem, Ratty, based on what you're
But you know, I tell you why I'm a little bit worried.
Yes.
I'm a little bit worried because FID can only investigate, right? FID cannot arrest, FID cannot prosecute. You know who's doing the prosecution? If there's going to be a prosecution, it's going to be the DPP. I know who's going to do the arresting. It's going to be the JCF, right? Can you imagine what that's going to look like or not going to look like for the JCF to go and put cuffs on the Prime Minister and for his DPP to prosecute him? And by the way, before we even get that far, remember that Minister Faval Williams, she has oversight over FID. She can tell FID what to do. She can stop the investigation. So you have several layers of impediments. One is that the Minister of Finance and Public Service can exercise oversight and basically direct that investigation, or better yet, wreck that investigation. And if she no wreck it, the police, they have a role to play in terms of the arrest.
But
and then,
let me ask a question. Hold on, let me ask a question. What I want to ask is that oversight, right, has the responsibility or the ability or the capacity to stop an investigation. Do they possess that ability, that oversight?
You know, where is it? I have it here. It says essentially that the minister can direct how certain things are done. So it's not like the FID has complete independence, you know, and can just run about and do whatever they want and things like that. For example, even to engage overseas partners with this investigation, they must go to the minister and get the minister's approval. And there are several other things that they have to do. There's several other things that they have to do to get the minister's approval. And so if the minister said, you know what, I'm not going to, I think this is it here. If the minister said, I'm not going to go forward with this thing here, you know, then it's a problem. And I'll show you exactly. Let me just show you exactly what I'm talking about, because that's a good question you asked. That, like, essentially, are they independent? All right. Look at this for me. Let me show you something. Present, share screen. All right. This is the, all right, people, this is the here it is, the Financial Investigations Division Act. This, we can't get it any bigger. This is the law that governs FID.
Yes.
Right? Now, if you go to section 5, here we go, 5. It says, subject to the provisions of this act, the division shall advise the minister on matters of policy relating to the detection, prevention, and control of financial crimes, collect, receive, blah, 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 and then talk to the minister about a whole bunch of things. Now, there's a section here. I've written it down. Let me see. There's a section there that, hold on, there's 1, 2, 5. 3. Look at 3. Where is it? All right. Look at it. The objects of this act is to establish a department of government with sufficient independence. I don't like that word, sufficient. And it says sufficient independence. Sufficient means that you're not completely independent. It should just come out and say, we're establishing a department with independence. I know why they don't have you know why they use the word sufficient, because they have to report to the minister everything that they're doing. You see now, like Integrity Commission, nobody knows what they're doing, right? Until they're finished, and then they table their report, and they say they can't talk about it. But here they're saying, well, you have sufficient independence, and when you go through this act, you see the minister, all over it. Let me show you another one. Investigate arms length 3B1 for that's the one where the minister is involved in that one there. And then E. Look at E. He's quite interesting, right? It says, let me go back to 5A. It says, subject to the provisions of this act, the division shall, and then you go to E, investigate or cause to be investigated at the request of the DPP, the police commissioner, or any other public body. No, remember they were saying that, oh, you can't give it, Integrity Commission can't turn the investigation over to FID. Well, look at E. He says yes. He says the DPP, the police commissioner, or any other public body. Yeah, and Integrity Commission is a public body. So this argument what they make is just pure nonsense. Then when you go to 7, where is it? 7. Here, look at 7. It said the minister may, after consultation with the chief technical director, that is their head person, give to the division such directions of a general character as to the policy to be followed in the exercise of its functions. Look at the last part. As appear to the minister to be necessary in the public interest, and the division shall give effect to the direction. So what that means is that if the minister is the one who sit above and say, hey, you know what, I don't think this is in the public interest. No, so just scrap this thing here. We're not going any further with it. The minister has the right to do that.
Okay. All right. So let us talk about strategy here, Ratty.
Yeah.
Because we see where that is going.
Right.
Right. And so then obviously we can't go around that because it is what it is. So then let us talk about strategy. And
okay.
I hope Phil is listening. Right. And so the strategy is would it be prudent for FID to rush into this investigation or to utilize delay tactics and try to reach a change of government?
Well, here's the thing. Couple things. Well, several things. One is if the minister can shut this down, right? The minister can just say, based on 7, the minister can sit down with the chief technical director and just say, look, I don't think this is necessary to move forward with this thing. And it says, and the division shall give effect to the directions. If she direct them to shut it down, then they're going to have to go shut it down. Now, here is something that we should be mindful of. Minister Favour Williams, she has a history of trying to put the kibosh on things, shut things down. If you remember Denzel, I can't remember Denzel's last name, up at UA, the professor who they were looking for somebody to head one of the departments up at UA. And this gentleman scored higher than everybody else in the written and in the oral. And it was alleged that he's a member or he's a supporter of the PNP. And she said, no, we're not going to approve it. We have to give this some thought. And they even threatened to pull funds from UA. And it was only when the students across UA, not only in Jamaica, but across UA in the Caribbean, they started saying, no. This guy, he's supposed to be in charge of that department because he scored higher than anybody else. And it was only through a show of force in terms of numbers that she relented and she said, okay, fine. So I'm not putting it past her now for there to come out and say, well, you know what, we're going to shut this thing down, and then just shut it down. And you see, that's why this program is so helpful and is so essential, because you keep focus where focus should be. Because I'm not telling you, Mystic, had it not been for you and other programs, this you wouldn't hear anything more. Should have shut it down, and that will be the end of it. And people are wonder a year from now, 2 years from now, whatever happened to that case there? And the case finished. So strategy, the first thing is that we have to shine the light on her role to say, look, we know you have the right, can't shut it down, but you better not shut it down, because guess what? It's not in the public's interest for you to shut it down. Exactly. Then what we have to do is, she might pass the buck on to the JCF and the DPP. And the DPP, as we know under the Constitution, the DPP can decide, can decline to prosecute, and there's nothing that anybody can do, right? All of this will happen under the cover of darkness if we don't keep shining that light. If our bulb go out, I'm telling you, if our bulb go out, or we don't flip that switch in the on position, you won't hear anything more about it, and it will just die a slow and natural death, like all of these other issues. And years from now, people say, whatever happened to that? And when you force them say, oh, the DPP declined to prosecute. And people say, wait, for a day or two. And then that's it. It's over. Yeah. So I'm happy that you are out there championing the cause for the people, shedding the shining the spotlight on this issue, so that this issue doesn't die. Because there's several ways they can end this. They can end it with FID and the Minister of Finance. They can end it with the police, and they can end it with the DPP. And guess what? They're in charge. They have the power. They can do it.
Yeah. There's a question there on the portal there. Can the opposition party challenge the minister if she decides to shut down the investigation?
See, that's an important question.
Exactly.
A very important question. And here's how I would address it. The opposition party, the civil society, the religious community, the business community, and all the other stakeholders, they should not wait for the minister to do this before raising Cain. What they should do is, they need to start raising Cain now. Say, minister, we are watch you. Don't let her do it, and then you say, minister, what you doing? No, tell her from now, minister, we're watching. We're watching. Let justice take its course. Let justice take it. Let the FID do what it's supposed to do. Do not interfere with this thing. We need to get that message out to her. No, we have to be proactive. We can't wait for her to do it, and then we'll come and say, because it's going to be a 9-day wonder. No, once you do it now, you should know, okay, they might watch. That's true, Larkland, but only on some issues they've challenged. There are many more issues they could have challenged the government on. And so this one I'm saying, but you see what I'm saying, Larkland? That's reactive. You know, something happened and then you go and try and fix it. I'm saying prevention better than cure.
Yeah.
Let them know that you're watching it. Let them know, just like how Mystic come here every night, him come on and they must shine the light and say, look, people, see what's going on here. And we know they're watching. Do that and dare them to take action. That's what you do. You do that and dare them to take. Don't let them do it first and then you come out and then you have to go sue them and then you have to go wait, months or years. Or in some instances, we don't do anything except a 9-day wonder. We get up and we yell and scream, and then after that, guess what? You don't hear anything more, and then another issue comes up, and then we start chase the shiny object. We're gone after that issue, and we'll forget about this one. So That's what I would do. I wouldn't wait. I would just go right now.
Yeah.
In fact, I would write the minister a very nice letter and say, Minister, congratulations on your new position. Know you will do well. There's a pending investigation, and we're counting on you to ensure that justice is truly administered, and that if any party is found wanting, that they should be brought before the bar of justice. And we stand with you on it. Put that in the file. 1 hour. But you can't sit back and make her do it and then.
Definitely.
Hold on. Somebody here want to ask Mr. Rattigan a question. So there's asking if he can call.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and call in a mic.
All right. So we are going to open the phone lines in terms of anyone who want to call and speak to Mystic Sensation or speak to Rattigan. Please do so. Right. So we are giving maybe a 10 minutes gap for anyone who want to call. And then if no one want to call, then we're coming to the close of the show tonight.
Good night.
Okay, good night. You're on Mystic Sensation, my friend.
Yes, Mystic. Enough respect to the podcast. I love what you guys are doing, especially Rattigan.
Blessings.
Rattigan, I love how you investigating matters. Trust me.
All right.
I really appreciate it.
Yes,
But the question that I have, I watched a past podcast earlier today. I think it was about PBD production. He spoke about a company that was awarded the contract rights to the mine in the country. But then he was alluding to the fact that the shares or ownership of the rights were transferred to another company which was not registered up to now in the company's office of Jamaica. So I was asking if it's possible to ask Rattigan to look into that. To which company, whichever contractual obligation, it was transferred to, because up till now, it has not been registered in office, the company's office of Jamaica. So we're wondering now, there's a big mining contract being offered by the government, right? I think it was raised by a PMP senator. I can't remember his name. But this is something that I think we need to have look into, because this is billions of dollars being transferred from one company to another, and there is no record. So that's an issue I think we need to look into. I also wanted to touch on a little bit regarding the Director of Investigation. He made a comment in the House saying it would be foolhardy for him to give away his investigative procedures. Meaning, he'd not tell you where I look. Right? He want you come question you give him an answer, and then he go to work and find out say you lie. Right? So I think Rattigan real issue of, he should have been doing more. But I'm saying Rattigan, the man, no want to give it, the whole thing before he catch the rat. He want to catch the rat before he give it anything. So he's trying his best, I think, in the report as well, to word it in a way where he's not giving away too much information. That's what I think, He's very smart. I find him a very intelligent person, right? The Director of Investigation. And I share your concerns with the Director of Prosecutions as well. I think she could have spoken more on certain issues, key issues, and she did not. In terms of charging the Prime Minister, I don't think it's enough. They have enough information now to move forward with a charge. They wanted to investigate more, but he was just not giving them the documents. And ADMAT, oh gosh. ADMAT must have been using some financial tool to purchase those shares. Why are we not hearing about that financial tool that was used? This is something that is really weird, because there's no way ADMAT could have been, making purchases without any form of financial tool. They must have used some form of financial tool, and we need to know what it is. We need to know how much money it is that we're going through their coffers, if they have any, because basically he's saying they don't have any, so where store the money? This is a quick question I think we need answered. But I just want to say, guys, keep up the good work. I watch your program every night.
Blessings.
Trust me. Every time you guys are on here, I watch the program because it's very informative.
Thank you.
Rattigan, go easy on the Director of Investigations, please.
Yeah.
Let me answer that.
Wait a minute, Kevin Stevenson. That's the
Yes.
director of investigation. Look, he acquitted himself quite well in Parliament. No doubt, the gentleman, he has a good mind, you know. But must keep in mind that he's not the one doing the investigation. They have worker bees. He's the one at the level where the everything percolates up to him, and then and then he kind of like sifts through it and make sure that it gets to the commission and all of that stuff. But and then they're pressed for time. Here is a problem I have with Kevin, right? As I'm leader, the signal I would send to my people, and it would be more than a signal, it would be a direction, is this: you don't ask questions if you don't know the answers of a subject. You don't. What that means, it means that you have to go out and do your homework. Yeah, and you don't interview people 2-3 times, right? What that tells me, once you start the 2-3 times, it tells me that them give you something and you never prepare for it, and then you have to go back, go find out, and then come back. No. Once you get that report, that referral from the commission that came from the information and complaint division, then you go to work. And you have the power as the Integrity Commission to ask all of these financial institutions questions. Plus, you also have the power to engage with foreign partners. Of course, you have to do it with there's a problem again, because you have to do it with the permission of the minister. That's what the act says, that you can do it, but you have to do it with the permission of the minister. Just foolishness, right? Because the minister gonna know what going on, and you know it go. But that's what I would do. I would make sure, say, we hit the ground running and we get all the information we can get. We sit down, we plan, we strategize, all of that stuff. You get all the, so you only sit down with them one time, just one time. And that's it. When you sit down, you're not going to no argument with anybody, you know, and say, well, how come you did say this, but no, you said this, that. No, you know, no argument. You just ask the questions and you say, thank you very much. We will talk later on. And that's it. You finish.
All right. Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Patrick, you're on Mystic Sensation Live. Go ahead with your questions.
To you and your lovely wife and your guest, Mr. Rattigan.
Thank you, sir.
No, initially when this illicit enrichment case came about, and I was saying on social media that I personally had a concern about FID's role in the investigation, simply because FID's boss was the Minister of Finance, right? And I was even suggesting that the government is really the lawmaker. So FID and all of these entities were really set up to catch private sector people, not government, because government was expected to be of
sound character,
unquestionable integrity, according to the Prime Minister, right? And then I was told when I queried that FID is affiliated to international organizations, so they basically cannot be tainted by government, although they are a part of government, right? But listen to Mr. Rattigan now. It's telling me that my original fear about to the extent to which FID can be independent and is investigating the Prime Minister, who is basically his bigger boss, so to speak, because the Minister of Finance answers to the Prime Minister anyway, and the whole system. So, you know, I am right back to square one, but be that as it may, can FID engage the services of the FBI? Is that possible? And which international organization as a body, like what I was told that FID was really aligned to,
that would cause them to be independent. And that is basically, at this stage, when I thought it was done and dry, based on my first concern. And now, based on what Mr. Rattigan says, put me right back to square one as to really and truly the ability of it to, investigate thoroughly and completely. So that is one. And the second one is just to find out if it can engage the services of the FBI in this issue. That's basically it. So I will hang up and listen for the response.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Go ahead.
Yeah. There's a group called Egmont, and it's a group of financial investigators and analysts. It's an international organization. Jamaica is a part of that. So Jamaica can engage Egmont to do certain things. However, they cannot do it without permission of the minister. And I'm trying to find the section in the act, because I read it, that they can establish international cooperation with their colleagues, but it has to be sanctioned by the minister. Them just can't go out and do it. In fact, guess what? It's the same principle with the Integrity Commission. The Integrity Commission can reach out to the FBI, CIA, DEA, whoever they want to reach out to. But the minister plays a central role in that. The minister must know about it and approve it. And it's the same thing here with the FID. So that's why I'm saying that they have limited independence. They don't have unlimited independence. They don't have true independence where they can just go out and do whatever they want to do in the interest of justice and for the benefit of the people. No, they have somebody who's exerting oversight who can say, no, I don't want that to happen. For whatever reason, you would hope that wouldn't happen. But whoever put that in the law, and I guess I have to agree with the caller that this wasn't meant for government. Because if it was meant for government, they wouldn't hamstrung them. They wouldn't limit them this way. They would just say, look, you have independence to look wherever you want to look, right? You're truly independent. But that is not the case. But I will find it. I'm going through it right now. I'm going through it right now. And there's a section in here where they say that, yes, you can work with international partners, but you have to get the permission of the minister. So I hope that answers the question.
Yes. Well, very good response, dear Ratty. Right. And you can see as it relates to how the laws.
I found it. Here,
Okay.
Here we go. Let me throw it up right there. So. See it right there, so.
Okay.
All right, section 12, right? It says, subject to the provisions of this act, the chief technical director may, that is the chief guy, the number one guy, may, with the approval of the minister, enter into a contract, a memorandum of understanding, or other agreement or arrangement with a public body in Jamaica, which they have done with the Integrity Commission, or a foreign financial intelligence department or association of such departments. And the FBI would fall into that category.
So the operative wording that we need to look on there is with the approval of the minister.
With the approval of the minister.
That is the operative.
Right. So that is what I don't like. That shouldn't have been there. It should be like, yeah, do whatever you need to do to get the job done. But it says and if you take out that phrase with the approval of the minister, it would read, subject to the provisions of this act, the chief technical director may enter into a contract, memorandum of understanding, or other agreements, blah blah blah. That's what it would read, meaning that you may do it if you feel like. But then when they insert with the approval, it means like if they don't get the approval, how you going to do it? The approval is an impediment. I don't like that language.
Yeah. See,
I don't like
I see that, Ratty. All right.
I don't like it. Take it away. But
Yeah.
I want to take a look at this again. This is another piece of the same act where confirm what me I say or reaffirm what me I say.
Yes.
This is 7. I just sent it to you.
Okay.
Section 7. All right, look at section 7. It says, subject to the provision of this act, the minister may, upon the recommendation of the chief technical director, which means that may means him not have to do it. But it says the minister may, upon the recommendation of the chief technical director, enter into any agreement or arrangement in writing with the government of a foreign state, an international organization, or a foreign financial intelligence department, or an association of such departments regarding the exchange of information relevant to the investigation or prosecution of a financial crime. Now, you see what happened? This is a twist of the one we just read, because one we just read, it says that the technical director, him can do it with the approval of the minister.
Yes.
No, this one said the minister can do it based on the recommendation of the person, of the chief technical director. So either case, the minister is central to it.
Yes.
The minister is central. So the minister is the one who going to say, okay, the technical person going to come and say, listen, why you going in agreement with them guys so we can share some information? Because generally speaking, these people don't do things verbally. It's written. So him come and say, well, why you get involved? Like, for example, with FBI, blah, 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 they might have to draft a letter or whatever. The minister might say, no. And then now here the chief technical director will come to the minister, and the minister may or may not do it. I mean, what I don't remember what number one that was. What number one that? Okay, here it is. All right, look, people, I want them to do this for me. Because I run out of time. I want you to go to the Financial Investigations Division Act and read section 12, right? We say that the chief technical director may enter an agreement provided the minister has approved it. I want you to read that 12, section 12 right there, and then I want you to come back and then you read 7, subsection 7. We say, subject to the provisions of this act, the minister may, upon the recommendation of the chief technical director, enter into any agreement to do the same thing.
Yeah, but Ratty, I want to go back there, right? And as it relates to the essence of English language, right? The word may are given a layaway, right? Where they can seek such entity, doesn't have to.
Right.
Have to.
Right.
Go through the minister. Based on what I'm seeing. Ratty, what it says, Ratty.
Go ahead.
That subject to the provision of this act, the minister, right, may, upon recommendation of the chief technical director, may upon recommendation. If it said that subject to the provision of this act, the minister, right, must, on the recommendation of the chief technical director, would be saying something more forceful.
That's my point. That's my point. That the minister have the prerogative. The minister have the discretion. Because him said may, so it means that he may or he may not do it.
May not. Yeah.
Yeah, but take a look at this one here. Take a look at this 9. Look at 9. 9 says the minister may make regulations concerning the exchange of information relevant to the investigation or prosecution of a financial crime. He said, I don't like this kind of language. First of all, the minister shouldn't be involved in this, man.
Yes, I agree.
It shouldn't. If you're a loyalist, if you have a minister who's a loyalist, who's loyal to a prime minister, and the prime minister on the investigation, you can see where this could be cause for mischief. You can see it.
Very problematic.
Because this, again, to me, this both handicap, right, the FID investigators, and also, right, handicap the IC to some extent.
I agree.
Would you say that?
I agree with you. It's a huge handicap. Because here's why he's on the no, guess what happened now? The way this is written, you have to go to the minister, you know.
Yeah.
Before you do it. You have to go to the minister and say, Minister, I need your approval, or I need you to do this. Yeah, the minister is central to everything that's going to be done. And the minister then has the prerogative or the discretion to say, no, I'm not going to do it. And then where that leave, you know, with the investigation? Leaves you nowhere. Because if you violate that rule, you're going to have a problem. If the minister says, no, I don't want you mentioning this to anybody, just leave it right where it is. And then you say, but Mr. Minister, we need information from overseas. And he say, I don't care. We're not going to deal with those people. You're stuck. You're stuck.
Ratty, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
If there is clear evidence that the minister ruling or make any decision in support of, you know, persons who who made a foul of the law, and there are clear evidence that the minister is trying to avoid, right, the rule of justice to prevail, can the minister charge?
Technically, let me move this. Technically,
we're talking about obstruction of justice.
Justice, yeah. Technically, the minister could be subjected to a charge if you can prove that the minister is standing in the way of the true administration of justice. Is obstructing justice, in other words, right? Mm-hmm. Where there is a certain avenue to go down to get information to conduct a prosecution, an arrest and prosecution, and the minister says, no, I'm not going to do it. Now, what they'll do is they'll come up with a reason. They just can't say no. They'll come up with some kind of reason, some flim-flam reason, and then some people just accept it and say, well, you know, the answer is no because of this reason. But to answer your question, yes, the minister could be charged for obstruction of justice. But will anybody will stand up? Who will stand up and do that?